Hello, and welcome to another edition of Sporty's Product PIREPs, where we like to highlight some of the more unique products here and just get into more of the details to help you as a shopper. Products we're going to talk about today is the Logitech X56 HOTAS. Now, HOTAS is a term you're going to see a lot in the flight simulation community, and what it stands for is hands-on throttle and stick. It basically means there's a lot of buttons within my grasp without having to move my hands from where they naturally rest. So let's start talking about a couple of the components of the Logitech X56. As you can see, the stick and the throttle are separate bases, so you can move them to your liking on your desk. The stick, as you can see, it has a lot of details and a lot of buttons incorporated. As my hand rests on here, my thumb quickly has access to multiple 8-way hat switches. This one's currently configured for exterior views outside of the aircraft. We also have two pinky triggers. We have another scannable arm over on the left, so we can change our views at our disposal. And then we also have the typical pointer finger. So if you find yourself in a scenario where you're too close for missiles and you need to switch to guns, you have that ability with the Logitech X56. Typically, people understand that a stick will offer pitch, they'll offer roll, but a lot of customers don't recognize that this also gives you yaw. So it takes care of all three axes you need in order to fly, and really a great piece standalone to get you flying digitally. As we move on over to the throttle, you can see, again, a lot of switches and a lot of pieces here we can customize. Where my hand naturally rests, we have a slider here, which is currently configured to our trim. You can see the airplane moving up and down, with also a push button. We have another slider down here, not configured, push button, another slider. So if you want to configure this for, say, your flaps or something else of that sort, your gear, have that ability. We have another two-way axes looker pointer, if you will. You could configure this to anything that requires an axis. Think maybe leaning out of mixture, changing your prop settings. Really a lot of abilities there. Multiple other 8-way hat switches, and then a few bumpers on the back. So we have an up and down two-way position, and then two other buttons over here that I've currently configured for our afterburners. So if you're feeling the need for speed, you have that ability also with the 56. And as you can see, we've gone into AB mode. So really nice throttle here. Now, you may not see it at the moment, but these are two pieces that are moving in tandem. When I push on one or the other one moves with it. If you don't want to fly, say, a two-engine jet, or you want to maybe take a step back and fly a Cessna 172 and you want control of both your throttle and your mixture, you're able to do that by unclicking this lock, and now they will move independently. So another really great feature that Logitech built in that opens up the door to what you can use it for. We also have another slider over here on the left side, which is currently set to our flaps. And then we have a tension wheel. So let's say as you're using the X56, you don't like the movement of the throttle, you can go ahead and critique that towards your liking right here. Moving along the base of the throttles, we have a mode selector. This is unique to the Logitech brand, where if you want to program a certain style or a certain configuration for your aircraft and not have to do it every time you jump in, or style 1 is Cessna, style 2 is a FA-18 Super Hornet, style 3 is a Pilatus PC-6. You have that ability with the mode selector, a very convenient piece. We have 7 two-way switches that reset. Why I think it's important to mention that they reset is because too often as you add more and more flight sim components to your program, you may have what's called a zombie command. A scenario I like to run is sometimes a customer will be using a piece that has a two-way switch and it will say gear up. And then they'll have another hardware piece that says the gear lever, and as they move it, nothing is changing. Well, it's because you're getting different commands. The reason I like this is because when I do gear up, it resets in center. When I do gear down, it resets in center. So it doesn't default to one spot and give a command that's going to conflict with, say, another. Rarely do you see these resetting switches in flight simulators, so a great piece right there. And then lastly, we also have 2 other dials right here that you could configure to anything that has an axis also. So really a lot of different commands that this simulator can send to the simulator can take advantage of. It's really a great fighter stick. Also can, as I mentioned, work for, say, a Cessna or some GA aircraft. And really just a great one to take advantage of the latest updates with Microsoft Flight Simulator's FA-18 Super Hornet. If you find yourself in a scenario where your ego is writing checks that your body can't cash, this is the right hardware piece that's going to make sure you really enjoy the FA-18 and have some fun in the simulator. So we hope this video was informative. Maybe it answered a question or two you might have had about the X56 HOTAS. We'll continue to add videos, and as always, have fun digitally flying.